Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome to another episode of the Captain Dean Show. This is a very special episode because just a few hours ago, I met my brother and he gave me this case. This is a very special bass guitar, not only to my brother, of course, because it is his, but it also has a lot of sentimental meaning to me as well, and I will tell you the whole backstory on it when we get started. But I wanted to open the case on camera for the first time. I haven't seen this in a few years, and anyway, he contacted me a few days ago and wanted me to get his bass and clean it up, put some new strings on it, and just do a little service on it. So here we go. Oh, it's so old it doesn't even make any clacking sounds. There we go. Ah, that one opens. Okay, are you ready? The big reveal. And there it is. I will get into the details as this video goes on from here, but this is my brother's prized possession, a Rickenbacker bass guitar. It is a 4001 Rickenbacker, and he's had it since well, let me think about this. He would have been 17 or 18, so I was around 13 or 14 years old, maybe, when he got this bass guitar. So not only did he put it to work playing in bands and stuff, but I also learned how to play bass on this one. He also owned a PV Fury, so that was his first bass, and again, I'll get into more detail as the video goes on, but he got a PV Fury when he was about 15 or 16 years old. And played on that one and learned how to play on that one, and so did I. But then just a few years later, he got this one. And this became his main bass guitar. The PV became his backup if he was playing a show and needed a backup bass for any reason. But there you go. The case is open, and I've got some work to do, so I'm going to film the whole thing, and you get to come along for the ride, and I am very excited to not only work on it, get it cleaned up, get it fixed up, and put some new strings on it, but at the end of the video, I will definitely pull out my full rig and hook it up to a proper bass amp and not these little 15-watt practice amps I have behind me over here. I will plug it up to the real deal, and we will give it a good test run. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Brad Collier's Rickenbacker 4001 bass. brother's 1973 Rickenbacker 4001 bass. I looked up the serial number on this. It was manufactured in July of 1973. It is currently August of 2005, which means this bass just celebrated its 52nd birthday. Looking good for 52. All cleaned up, new strings, tested, and this thing is still the beast I remember it to be. It's got such a unique tone and sound. I can see why Lemmy and Geddy Lee and so many different bass players out there that we grew up listening to would use a Rickenbacker for certain sounds, but some of the, obviously Lemmy used it for his entire career, but some of those guys would use them often for certain songs and certain sounds that they needed for the songs they had written. But Lemmy was the staple. He used the Rickenbacker all the time, and I can completely understand why. This thing is absolutely beautiful. I am honored that my brother trusted me to do this for him, and I just love this bass. All of this is so just beautiful to look at, and I don't know, he's taken good care of it, even though it's been kept in a case for many years now, or on a stand and not, playing in bands and stuff. But I just remember so vividly being so young and going to see my brother's bands play, and he would wear this armband that was almost like a wrist band that you would wear to go bowling in or something. It had that hard wrap around thing to it, and he just beat this thing to death because he was in a lot of just heavy hard rock kind of bands, and he was an amazing bass player. I think he had an amazing stage presence. He is definitely one of the top influences for me to do what I'm doing today. And I really salute him for everything that he has done, and I'm just very thankful. So thank you, Brad. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for being a cool brother and having such a beautiful bass. I said at the beginning of this video that I would get into the details of this, so I need to go ahead and do that now before we wrap it up. This was a graduation gift to my brother from my grandmother. And so I think Brad graduated, he was class of 1991, I believe. And therefore, he probably got this in the early spring of 1991, if my memory serves me right. Could have been 1990. I don't remember, and he's not here for me to ask. But anyway, he got this as a graduation gift from high school. And so that would have put him around 18 years old. He played it for many years in many bands. He was in bands called Capital Punishment. He was in a band called Runt. Oh my God, he's going to kill me for not remembering all of them. We had a project together called Cerebral Metal, which I've talked about in previous episode, featuring my Squire Stratocaster. I talked very heavily about Cerebral Metal. The recordings that we did for Cerebral Metal is this bass. This is the bass you hear on those Cerebral Metal records that Brad played on. He was in a band called Runt, and they recorded, I believe, a 4-song EP. It could have been maybe a 5 or 6. I'm pretty sure it was a 4-song EP. And this is the bass he used on that. When he got this bass, he owned a Gallon-Kruger head with a humongous PV cabinet. It was kind of like an Ampeg refrigerator, but it was a PV. And that just had that tone. Gallon-Kruger to me growing up was Duff McKagan and Flea, and Brad was a big Cliff Burton fan and a big Lemmy fan, but he also loved Steve Harris and Ian Hill. And so those were influences on him to do what he did. And so it was a very cool thing to be a little brother watching your big brother do stuff like that. But he eventually graduated down to getting a Fender silver. What was it called? It was a silver phase. I'm drawing a blank on it. He sold the big cabinet and everything and kind of scaled back a little bit. And he ended up getting a Fender Bassman, but I can't remember what year it was. It was probably an early 70s Fender Bassman. And he had that for a long time, and he played that in a few bands toward the end of his playing years, which kind of, I don't know, he only did it for maybe 10 or 15 years, give or take, like consistently, like joining bands, playing in bands, and if one band fell apart, he would do something else. He finally just got tired of it, and he told me one day he got tired of booking shows, and he got tired of putting up with musicians. And I was like, wow, you're stronger than me, because I can't do it. I'm still doing it all these years later. I can't put it down and walk away, but Brad did, and I salute him for that, because it's what he wanted to do. So more power to him. But he still has the PV Fury that I mentioned earlier. He got that as his first bass in 1988. And then after playing that for a few years and getting really good, he graduated to getting this Rickenbacker. I don't really know what else to say without having him here to tell the story, but that's pretty much the detail information that I know of. I may be 100% off on the date, but it's ballpark. I'm pretty sure he got this bass around 1991, which would have put him as a senior graduating high school, which makes sense, unless he got it as an early birthday present in November of 1990, going into graduating in May of 1991. Whatever the case, he got it. And what a gift. That was all he wanted from my grandmother was, I want that bass. So it's kind of a family heirloom, the fact that she purchased it. And I wish we knew more about the backstory on this, because it was purchased from a music store in Bowling Green, Kentucky. There's no telling who owned it before him, but as I said, the plate cover, everything that you see is exactly how it was the day that he got it. He never took the cover off or didn't take the muffle knobs out or nothing. This is exactly how it was when he got it. So it got some deep cleaning, and it's been a joy to work on it. It's been fun sitting here playing it for a little bit, and I am honored. Brad, thank you again, and your bass is ready.
Do 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 ba do 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 do. Ba da da ba 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 da ba ba. Do 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 do. Do 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 ba do 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 ba do 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 boo boo ba ba da ba 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 do 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 ba one ba 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 da ba ba da 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 ba ba da ba ba da ba ba do 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 ba ba ah do 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 ba do 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 do